elected in Harris County.
Yay.
Or the first Hispanic editor of the Texas Law Review.
Yay.
We're still in an era of firsts, and many individuals in this room have helped break barriers so that our generation doesn't have to stay in the era of firsts. We can take so much wisdom from the wealth of experiences of people in this room. So during today's luncheon, I challenge the students to ask attorneys how they got there. What did they do? What advice can they give you? Continue to make those networks and to make contacts. Because with their help and guidance, what our generation can achieve is limitless. So now I want to invite Steve Aleman, president of MABA-TX, to say a few words before we eat. But everyone please start your salads.
Thank you, Bianca. Again, I'm Steve Aleman, the current president of the Mexican American Bar Association of Texas. I've had the chance to speak to most of you starting last night at the welcome reception. Again, I want to acknowledge Lulu Flores for helping secure the venue, which I thought worked out very nicely. I also, again, want to acknowledge Grace Giuliani, the law firm sponsor of the welcoming reception last night. We had a great kickoff. I, at some point, departed, but I understand others continued on a little bit longer into the evening, so I'm glad everybody made it back in safely. Definitely relieved on that front. But again, welcome to today. For those of you who were not here at the very beginning, we had a great opening session about career paths and how one has faced challenges to get where they are. And I think, as Bianca just said, don't feel bashful if that's the only time that we have for you to talk about how do I go about this, where am I going, how do I become the lawyer I want to be. We're here throughout the day to share experiences with one another, talk with the lawyers, talk with the judges that are here. I just want to say just a quick thing about MABA-TX a little bit more. MABA-TX is a voluntary bar association, like many bar associations here in town, in your hometown, across the state, across the country. MABA-TX has many trailblazers, and I'm just happy to play my little part for 1 year in its leadership. But basically, as you probably know, in our larger metropolitan areas, we have Hispanic bar associations. They may be called like Hispanic Bar Association of Austin here locally, or they may be called Mexican American Bar Association of San Antonio, MABA San Antonio. But what we realized was that all of our communities are only stronger by coming together and by being united. And so MABA-TX is sort of an umbrella group that brings together all of these local bar associations of Hispanic lawyers. Now, of course, in some parts of our state, we don't have a specific Hispanic bar association. I think it was noted like earlier this evening, like, down the valley, Cameron County or whatever. If you belong to the county bar association, you effectively belong to the Hispanic Bar Association. So, but otherwise, we're still striving, I think, among our goals to get chapters established in West Texas, and I'm glad to see the friends from Lubbock, and maybe we can think about some of those kinds of things here in the time we're still together and build those relationships that will lead to that. But MABA-TX tries to bring people together on statewide issues of significance, and on those kinds of things that I mentioned earlier in my remarks, that the Hispanic Issues section in the State Bar of Texas really can't take on directly because of bar regulation. And we'll hear in a moment as well from Jana Ortega, our current Hispanic Issues section chair. But just in general to highlight what kind of MABA-TX is involved in, we have been trying to do this law student conference over the years. We try to rotate it around the state to the different law schools so that students have an opportunity to get there. We don't want to just, I think Austin's obviously, a good draw, a good place to host this event. We do want to try to spread it around. Some of the other things I hope that we can, for those of you who are 2Ls in particular, and one L. I hope that you're inspired about this event and I hope the success that we're having here to say, you know, I would like to put our school into the rotation and be on that planning committee. So before we go, I'd like to at least have some thought that we have picked the next year's venue and have some students who are going to show some leadership and help with this event for next year already, for the 2013 edition. So I call upon you to think about that, and we can talk about that as we go on through the rest of today. Also, MABA-TX does other things by sponsoring CLE programs, similar to what we're going to be highlighting already today and later today, contemporary legal issues affecting the Hispanic community. We do a lot of partnerships with other organizations that have similar concerns. Also, one thing that distinguishes MABA-TX is that we will file amicus brief in various cases that are significant to the Hispanic community. We've done that in the past. And for instance, right now on redistricting, we're a party part of the redistricting task force that's bringing the litigation to see that fair representation occurs in the House and Senate of Texas, as well as the congressional delegation that Texas sends to Washington, D.C. And I was the party representative at the most recent 2-day hearing in San Antonio earlier this month on behalf of MABA-TX, as we're part of that litigation and trying to ensure civil rights for Texas Hispanic voters. So we try to do a lot of things that collectively needs to be addressed by lawyers. We are very privileged to have made it through school, made it through college, made it to law school, made it out of law school. So MABA-TX members really take it upon themselves to try to get back at least a little bit of what we have been blessed with. And I hope that you will consider, as you move along in your career, to join us in continuing that tradition. So let me leave it at that for now in terms of this welcome to this event, and we'll continue to network and gather, and I don't want to keep you from your dessert, so let me keep the program going by turning it back to Bianca.
People, please be sure to say hello. She is a solo practitioner in Austin in the field of criminal law for the past 6 years. She is the past president of the Hispanic Bar Association of Austin and the current chair of the foundation. She is also the current chair of the Hispanic Issues section of the State Bar of Texas. Please join me in welcoming Jana Ortega.
I'm not getting old. I have a back injury due to working out. I promise I work out. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all so much for spending this beautiful Saturday with us today. I look out at this room, and I am so excited for you all. Your future is so bright, and all of us in this room that are licensed attorneys look forward to helping you along your journey. Please take this opportunity to network as much as you can. Get our information, write down our names, and when your time comes and you need anything at all, we're all here to help you succeed. So please take advantage of that opportunity. Whenever you become licensed, you're going to have lots of different organizations that you're going to want to join, that you're going to have choices to join, and it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie, that first year, money may be an issue and things like that, but I promise, make the investment to join your local bar associations as well as the Hispanic Issues section of the State Bar. Taking advantage of those networking opportunities and building those relationships and those mentorships, that's going to be the key to exercising the advice that Mr. Herrera gave us earlier. That was great advice, and it is all so true. So build these relationships with other attorneys. Go to the events. Come to things like this. Do the grunt work on committees and be the secretary or come out and bring water to some event that your local bar association is having. That gets your face seen, it gets you recognized, and the next thing you know, you're president of the Hispanic Bar Association of Austin. So, I know it's hard. I know the money may be hard. If that is an issue, put the organization on the website. Call the chair, call the president. Let them know that you really, really want to become active, you really want to become a member, but you're having a little bit of a problem, and they will help you. I guarantee it. We want you to be active in our organizations. Our voice is only as loud as our members and our group together, so don't let that stop you. Again, if you need anything at all, please network and take up as many cards and as many names as you possibly can. And whenever you become licensed and you need anything, then we'll be here to help you. Thank you again.
Everyone enjoy your lunch. We will have our keynote shortly. Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Hope everyone's enjoying your lunch. We're going to go ahead and get started with our keynote address. Our keynote speaker is a lawyer who I think it's pretty easy to say is one of those wise Latinas. She's one of those firsts that I was talking about earlier, and it's truly an honor to have her here with us today. Sarah Saldana is a native of Corpus Christi, Texas. She graduated summa cum laude from Texas A&I University in Kingsville.
Go Javelinas!
We have a fellow hog here as well.
Excuse me?
Javelina.
You know what she called us?
The mascot's a little funky. And she received her JD from Southern Methodist University. After law school, she clerked for the Honorable Barefoot Sanders, and then worked for a number of federal agencies, including the Department of Labor and Housing and Urban Development. Ms. Saldana later joined Haynes & Booth and then Baker Botts, where she became a partner in their trial department. She formed and managed their labor and employment group in the Dallas office. In 2004, Ms. Saldana joined the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas. She served as Deputy Criminal Chief, managed the Fraud and Public Corruption Section, and successfully prosecuted a number of cases, including bank and mortgage fraud, civil rights, and human trafficking. This past year in September, she received the Hispanic National Bar Association's Latina Attorney of the Year. It is inspiring to young law students and attorneys to meet such a distinguished U.S. attorney who represents what can be achieved with hard work and dedication. She exemplifies leadership, initiative, and commitment to her community. Please join me in welcoming today's keynote speaker, the Honorable Sarah Saldana, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas.
I'm 5'4". That is a little high there. Listen, I am just so pleased to be here. I thought I was going to come in from Dallas this morning, make a quick little speech, and then go on to another event that I've got back in Dallas tonight. But I will tell you, I have been, I don't know about you guys, but I have been absolutely inspired and motivated. Ray, your talk this morning was so spot on. That panel was fabulous. If after seeing all of those people, you all do not understand that the sky's the limit, I mean, it is, because I think the people that have addressed you this morning show that, boy, anything is possible with some hard work, a little elbow grease, and earnest willingness and capacity to go for something that you want. So I'm very, very honored. Bianca, I didn't realize when I met her last summer that her mom was a fellow hog, and that just makes her even, it elevates her in my eyes. So I will tell you, I am. Here's another inspiration, and that's you. You all are really an inspiration. I'll tell you that I graduated from SMU Law School. Anybody here from SMU? I just offered to have SMU host this sometime in the near future. I hope we do, because I actually was a co-founder of the Hispanic American Law Students Association. We called it HALSA in 1983 on the SMU campus. The reason we did that is because there were 7 of us. I said 7 of us in the entire law school. And there's a picture in our yearbook. Yes, we had a yearbook then. I don't know if they do that anymore. But there was a picture in our yearbook of the officers at CASA. It was pretty much everybody that was an Hispanic on campus. But it was a great group, and I agree with everyone who has already said this morning that association and staying together and connecting with people who are, as someone said, kind of look like you, and support our community is always a good thing. If nothing else, just to have someone to talk to about issues that are common to us all. So that's in terms of the speakers this morning. I will tell you all that you all have chosen the right profession. I am so proud of our profession. Our lawyers, you are Hispanic lawyers, but you're lawyers, and you will be lawyers soon. The bar notwithstanding, that'll all go fine. But you're lawyers first, and I mean, think about it. To me, and I haven't made a scientific study of this, but I would wager a good lunch that of all the professions possible out there, lawyers are overrepresented in terms of the movers and shakers in our various communities across the country. I mean, not only like in companies, Fortune 500 companies, lawyers often you'll find in-house counsel, general counsel obviously will have that. A lot of people end up in business, getting a law degree and end up going and leading a company. But more so, think about who makes the laws between the legislatures, the local legislatures, and of course the federal laws, which is my interest. Those by and large in the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives are lawyers. All right, those are the people that make the laws. Think about the people who execute the laws. That's the executive branch. People like me, I'm part of the Justice Department umbrella. My big boss is the Attorney General of the United States. Lawyers. So, and then think about the people who enforce the laws and all of the executive branch and other parts. All of these have lawyers represented. In my view, we are in the right profession, and I'm very proud of it. You know, I think that some of the clamor has died down, but we had a period of time when, are there still lawyer jokes? I guess there are. People actually made a bunch of lawyer jokes, but I will tell you, you are in a blessed and wonderful profession. Speaking of, let me tell you a little bit about what I do. My occupation right now as U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. In our office, we enforce the federal laws of the United States, and you need to watch me because I'm a lawyer. I tend to talk and talk and talk, so help me on the time. It sounds to me like a little bit behind. But we enforce the laws of the United States. I have the Northern District of Texas, Lulu Flores. By the way, here is an extraordinary example of people looking behind them and pulling people up. Lulu and I, she doesn't remember. I think I met you last summer, Lulu, but she and I are face-to-face, perhaps for the first time, if Lulu's right, at least last summer, if I'm right, have met. But when I was vying for this position, I looked, I talked to a lot of people. I looked in different corners of people who knew the process, which, by the way, is a very mysterious one. And I met Lulu's husband. I think you're not how I ended up getting, I think it was through your husband. I met at some event, and he said, well, you want to talk to my wife, Lulu? She's very active. She can tell you a little bit about stuff. So we emailed each other back and forth for months and months and months, never having met. I provided her my credentials. I think I have a little bit going for me. And she believed in me, never having met me. And she was one of a whole bunch of people who really lent their hand to me. And and brought me up. And I truly believe, I really believe this. Again, I don't have any proof, and I'm in the proof business, but I don't have any solid proof of this. But organizations like MABA, and like the National Hispanic Bar Association were instrumental in advising the White House and the Department of Justice on who they believed was a good candidate. Never mind that I was Hispanic, but they believed in me, and I truly believe it made a difference. So Lulu, thank you. I mean, total stranger, I'm just always so impressed by that. So anyway, we enforce the laws of the United States. Let me tell you a little bit about the process for those of you who might be interested in, I don't think Judge Prado is here anymore, but like the federal judges, United States attorneys and United States marshals must be nominated by the President and confirmed by the entire United States Senate. So you have to go through a series of interviews, and more interviews, and more interviews. You have to disclose every fact of your life. The paperwork that I had to complete was, it went back to my 18th birthday. And when you're my age, that's a lot of years. And you have to disclose everything. There's a public part of the questionnaire, and then there's a confidential part of the questionnaire. The public part actually gets posted on the internet as part of this, transparency process. Fortunately, the confidential part does not. It's your specific finances, but there's a question at the end. This is so interesting that says, please let us know if there's anything in your past life, that you believe might bring some embarrassment to the president or to the senators who might be recommending you. And so I did have something to put in there. I'm not going to exactly disclose it, but it just gives you an idea of if you're going for this position, or United States judge or United States marshal, be prepared to be an open book, because that's exactly what's required. So you put your hat in the ring. You make your contacts with people in the community and talk about networking, Bianca. Some people don't like that word. Where is Emma? Hi, Emma. Emma picked me up at the airport today, but Emma was telling me that, and I hope you don't mind, I don't think this was a confidence, but she, the networking part of it doesn't come real easily to her. So forget the networking part. Just meet people. Does that feel better? Meet people? Forget the networking part. Just look people in the eye, meet them, talk to them, tell them about yourself, listen, learn. All of that is wrapped up in the N-word, networking, but it is an important thing, vital, because I had practiced, I guess it was 25 years when I was first recommended by the senators to the White House. I've been practicing 25 years, and they talk to everybody. A United States senator is not going to recommend you if something about you comes back and reflects negatively on them for taking that position. So it was a little extraordinary in my case. Google this, you will find a long story there. Unfortunately, it all worked out, but I was recommended on October 7th, 2009. October 7th, 2009. Not that it was significant in my life, but I remember the date exactly. And then by the senators to the White House, and then the White House had to act on it, and it took until March of 2011, last year, that the White House actually nominated me for the position. Once that happened, with the senators who were already supporting it, once that happened, the process went pretty well. I had to go before a committee first, a Senate committee, and then they did a nice little, how do you call it? It was like a calendar vote. I didn't have to appear before the Senate. They put me on a consent calendar, that's what it is. And the four of us, including your United States Attorney here in the Western District, Robert Pittman, extraordinary man, wonderful person. I love there's 4 of us in the state of Texas, and I love my colleagues, they're great people. Were confirmed on the same day, and my call came on September 29th, that the Senate had accepted the president's nomination, and I call our chief judge, who's the person who swears me in, and I'm like, within 5 minutes, am I getting that notice? And I said, please, Your Honor, could we get this sworn in quickly as possible before anybody changes their mind? And he accommodated me, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. But it's a rigorous process, and but it is. I think I've heard a couple of people who are in the prosecution business, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But who are in the prosecution business? I think I heard a comment this morning about it's the best job I've ever had. This is the best job. This is the best job. And with all due respect to my counterparts in the state system, there is nothing, I repeat, there is nothing more exhilarating and a point of pride than to stand before 12 citizens in a jury box and say, my name is Sarah Saldana, and I represent the United States of America. I mean, is that too cool? That is just too cool. I mean, it just gives me chills every time. And I've gotten a chance to do that as a prosecutor over time. But the U.S. Attorney's Office, I'm in a different perch now. I'm actually over the entire office. We've got over 200 people in our office, cover 100 counties in the state of Texas, all of North Texas. From here, we have another, my principal office is in Dallas, that's where I sit. But I have an office in Fort Worth. I go over there on occasion. And then Lubbock, a little bit less. Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, San Angelo, all that area is part of the Northern District of Texas. And we have both a civil side and criminal side. We have over 100 attorneys. There are about 17 offices of the 94 United States Attorney's offices in the country. There are about 17 of us that are extra large districts. That's lawyers, having lawyers, over 100 lawyers in an office. And we go like gangbusters. We, on the civil side, represent the United States when employees in the United States get sued, for example, which is not often because there's a doctrine actually that discourages that, but on occasion you can sue the United States. For example, in discrimination cases, we would represent the employees of the agencies. On the criminal side, any criminal statute in the United States, we have. And it is as broad as you can imagine. If it gives you any idea, our sections in our office are violent crimes, that's bank robberies, assaults, murders of, for example, a prison guard in a federal institution, that would come under our purview. Violent crimes is one area. Specialized crimes is human trafficking, which is one of the things I specialized in. Public corruption, a very important part of the work we do on the federal side, is ensure that public officials comport themselves properly, ethically, and then so that's public corruption, and then we have organized crime, which is drug rings. And at the federal level, we don't so much focus on small drug transactions. We focus on conspiracies and cartels, and it's dangerous work. And I will take just a moment to say the federal agencies we work with, and the federal agents we work with, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Secret Service, Department of Housing and Urban Development, obviously the FBI. These the women and men who make up those agencies and who work around the clock make each of you safe and your families safe. And in my personal belief is that we don't give them enough props because they tend to work obviously a little under the radar. And when there's something good that happens, you don't typically hear about it. When there's something that goes awry, you hear a lot about it. But they are dedicated servants. I'm so proud to be associated with them. And every chance I get, I try to recognize them because I think they're such an extraordinary group. Just a little bit about my background. And the stories are also similar. Not similar, they're all very individual, but but I am the youngest of 7. I didn't beat you, the youngest of 12, but I'm the youngest of 7. I have 4 brothers. How many do you have?
We're 3 brothers and 8 sisters.
Okay, well, all right. I have 4 brothers. Okay, so I'm tough. I can take anybody, and I'm the youngest of the 7. So, we'll meet outside if you want to take something up with me. But we were poor too. I mean, poor, and probably we were worse than poor. If is there a term for something worse than poor? There were times when we did not have food, and we go to bed hungry. But you know what? I agree. Ray, you may have said this, I don't remember, turning negatives into positives. I really believe that of the 7 of us, I'm very proud of this fact, all of us have high school degrees. One of them had to get a GED because he went into the Navy very young, but he ended up getting a GED. 5 of us have college degrees, and 4 of them have more than one college degree. I have a BA and a JD. I have a sister who is a lawyer also. We never had lawyers in our family. My sister and I, she went to this little school, University of Texas Law School. She and I always would compare notes during law school. I'm biased a little bit. I probably shouldn't say this given the crowd. But, SMU is a smaller school. And we had pretty good one-on-ones with our professors and stuff. But Monty and I both made it through law school, and she's a judge in Nueces County. So education was very much an important part. And we didn't have anybody. My dad was pretty much in and out of our lives. My mom was essentially a single parent. She was a homemaker until the 7th child came along. And then it was important. Somebody had to feed us. And she went and got a licensed vocational LVN degree. An LVN is, I think, it's a junior college. Man, I'll tell you what, when I think back, what she must have gone through, I'm so proud of her. And a little bit of her, I think, you will see in me. I mean, we're just these people that, got to get it done, whatever it takes. So she was a nurse. She helped us all. But my point being, Ray, that I think it made us tougher. I think it made us appreciate, that we didn't have what we could have and what little we did have. I think it made us reach a little further. I'm just very proud of my brothers and sisters and what all of us accomplished in our own way. We have not just lawyers, we have plumbers and all kinds of people in my family, but all of us, it was a struggle to get what we finally did. And then I started as a school teacher. I went to Aleman, started as a school teacher. And another theme I heard this morning was, are you one of these people that wants to get from point A to point B and think it's a straight line? Not necessarily. I think I heard some stories about this morning, and certainly my life is that way. I thought I'd be a school teacher forever. It's a very proud profession, a wonderful profession. But it didn't happen that way. When you get paid $7,000 a year as a school teacher in South Texas, actually I ended up going from South Texas to Dallas. Dallas was the highest paying school district in the state at the time, 1973. And $7,000 a year, and just didn't make sense to me. So I went into government service, starting with these agencies. I was an investigator for EEOC and did several different things with different agencies. But I was in a hotel. I remember I was traveling. I was working with the Department of Labor at the time. I was in a hotel. This is how planned my strategy was. I probably shouldn't be saying this because I probably should be encouraging you all to have a plan. But what I'm suggesting to you is life sometimes doesn't take you in a straight line. And with me, I'm in a hotel room. I remember this so distinctly, in a hotel room, and I'm watching this panel, and there's a guy that's a lawyer, and he's got it together, and he's talking about legal principles and cases, and it was just intriguing to me. And I thought, you know what, I think I could do that. I could try that. So I took the LSAT on the lark, ended up doing very well on it, and from there, enrolled in SMU. My sister took the same path, same year. Neither one of us told the other that we were taking the LSAT. And then we both get passing grades, so we were like, hey, I'm going to law school. What? I'm going to law school. So it's remarkable. But then I went to law school and I said this. So listen to yourselves as you graduate and start considering what you're going to do in the future. I said, all right, I'm going to law school, but I'm going to be a desk lawyer. I don't want anybody to bother me. I want to be all by myself in a corner. I want to just do my thing with transactional work. And then I clerked with a federal judge. I saw lots of cases, and I thought, you know what? I think I will. I forget the desk lawyer. I think I'm going to be a lawyer. But the one thing I know I'm never going to do is I'm just going to fight over money. I'm going to do civil work. Fight over money and property. I'm never going to get in the business of criminal work where a person's life or liberty is at stake. And of course, then the U.S. Attorney's position came along, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. So all I'm suggesting to you is keep an open mind. As we said this morning, I'm kind of repeating some of that. Keep an open mind, and there are opportunities everywhere. Sometimes you can't see them very well, but take advantage of every one, and regardless of whether it's precisely what you thought you had in mind, because everything builds. What I learned as a school teacher in front of 8th grade kids, teaching English, the last subject 8th grade kids want to learn, it was fortitude and stamina to be able to stand in front of kids, 32 kids, and try to teach them something they weren't particularly interested in. They wanted to do other things. So every experience I've had, and I think you will find it in your lives too, every experience is not a wasted one. It's the good and the bad. They all build us into the people we are. So with that, I thank you so much. I consider it a privilege, Bianca, for you to invite me. Thank you so much. And I'm leaving inspired. I don't know about the rest of you. So thank you.
Convention in Dallas this past September when she was awarded Latino Lawyer of the Year. And they had this fabulous reception at what I consider one of the holiest places in the world, at the new Jerry World in Cowboy Stadium. And Saldana addressed the crowd, but when she came out, she was wearing Tony Romo's jersey. Which I thought was fantastic that we shared a mutual love for the Dallas Cowboys. So we wanted to say thank you by sharing our love for the Texas Longhorns.
I'll share.
Well, thank you. There's, again, inspiring words, and great to see how much success can be accomplished from so many different pathways. And we look forward to your continued service to the United States and to those of us here in Texas. Thank you. We're winding down the luncheon program. I just have one other little bit of business to do right now, which is to hand out a few checks, if you don't mind. We hope that just the fact that we've brought you all together as law students here has been good enough. I think it is. I hope that this program has been what you were expecting, and well, maybe hopefully even more than what you were expecting in terms of the chance to meet other students. Again, kind of hear about your what might be in front of you and how to take that on. Share your stories with other law students, meet lawyers. But we also wanted to, and we know that there is a financial aspect to going to law school, obviously, and it gets more and more expensive, I suppose, every year. And while what we have to award isn't, in the big sum of things, probably all that much, it might cover 1 or 2 textbooks, perhaps, I don't know, at the cost these days. But we did want to at least give out a few scholarship awards, and I want to start by, before I do that though, and thank in principle one of the committee members, Russell Ramirez of Austin, a lawyer here, who helped with the screening of all the applicants. I want to thank all of you who applied for our MABA-TX Foundation Scholarship. I should note that we have MABA-TX, but we also have a corresponding 501c3 organization, the MABA-TX Foundation, which is actually a separate entity for the purpose of educational purposes. I mentioned earlier that we get into a lot of political and legal fights as MABA-TX, and so to keep the IRS issues out of the way, so we never have to worry about being in court on something with IRS. We have two separate branches, basically, of MABA-TX, and the foundation is exclusively about educational services and scholarship funding. So our foundation currently is chaired by Benny Augusto of Houston, who is actually also the president of the Hispanic National Bar Association. And he, unfortunately, is not able to join us today. He was hoping to join us, and you may have heard it alluded to earlier, the checks were on their way from Houston. He did sign the checks in time to get them to me, so we are prepared to move forward with that bit of business. Let me just tell you again that I want to appreciate everyone who did apply for the scholarship. All the applicants that we saw were very deserving. I hope actually first of all, I have to say sadly that we can't give an award to everyone who did apply at this time. I'm hopeful though through supplemental fundraising that while your application may not have been, we're able to fund your application today, I'm going to keep those applications on file and we can make a supplemental award at some other point. So don't be totally discouraged if I am not able to call your name today. But without any further ado, is Alejandro Avila here? If someone has a camera, by the way, this would be nice. Can you make it up here? All right, well, you have the MABA-TX, I can present this scholarship award to you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Julia Gandara. And Julia's from South Texas. All right. Very good, thank you. Samantha Jarvis. Linda Pena. University of Texas? Yes, sir. All right, very good. Well, congratulations. And let's see here. One name for right now, Carlos Ramos. Also the University of Texas, I believe, right?
Yes.
All right, congratulations. I have word of the name, but I've been informed that unfortunately Elizabeth Lopez is under the weather today and can't join us, but she was another recipient, so we'll present her check formally to her at another occasion. But those are our 6 recipients for this year at this time. But again, we did receive a lot of outstanding applicants, and I want to let those whose names I wasn't able to call right now to not despair too much, that we'll see if we can't somehow supplement the amount that we have for this event and carry those awards over. And we'll notify you as soon as we can that we're able to present something to you, because I don't want anyone to not leave with something. But So I think that right now we're basically at a time where we're going to be taking a break in a moment, at least in terms of the law students. I do have a little bit of business to conduct with MABA-TX members who are here. If I could ask you to reconvene in our meeting room at 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, I'm going to give the rest of you all a brief break because I do need to take care of some association business while we're all gathered here. But at 2:30, we'll resume our program. And we have a couple of events going on in the afternoon. And then one of the events after the 2:30 panel, we're actually going to be dividing up into 2 different groups. Those who are interested in clerkships will meet separately from the panel about the redistricting litigation. And it's only the redistricting litigation that's eligible for the CLE credit. But I suppose we couldn't get credit for the judicial clerkship panel, but I think there's still a lot of value in getting that advice and hearing those stories. Also, I want to let you know that we are also doing a little raffle, and I think we mentioned this earlier. If you do have a business card or if you want to put your name on a slip of paper and your law school affiliation, drop it off at the registration table. And also, don't forget to take a look at the HIS displays, bank issues section display down the hallway, as well as remember about your t-shirts that I showed you this morning and pick out your size. So with that, I want to thank you again, Madam Attorney, for being with us. I will excuse, I guess to some extent, some of you for a moment. And again, the MABA-TX members, if we can meet for a brief business meeting at 2 o'clock in our room where we were. And then otherwise, we'll start the program in that same location at 2:30. So thank you all.